Welcome back, guys. So we finally got a name this week. Maybe we got already the Pacific wait, the fuck? Pacific specifics. Okay, I know that's why. And yeah, got a lot to catch up this week. Again, we are here with Ben and Molecule. So let's get started. So the three things that we're going to discuss today is the recaps of the last 2 weeks of LCP. There's so many banger games, especially in week four. And the next thing we'll talk about the first and second teams and the MVPs for the split. And lastly, we'll just predict what's the playoff will be. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Yeah, the first game we decided to talk about is the CFO versus Secret Rails game. Kind of a surprising for me because I do think that CFO should win this easily, right, guys?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Because CFO actually played a decent week one or week two games, to be honest. Like except the first game against Vikings. Yeah, and I also thought like Secret Raiders are just kind of still new to the scene, and they got a bit of luck in the early stages because they are playing against the lower tier teams, right? DFM and uh Chiefs. Yeah, and although they got a very big lead in the game against Talon, but I still think like there's just Talon being bad is more accurate to describe the series. Yeah.
hmm Yeah. I mean, this series to me was like the most interesting thing about this series, in my opinion, was that game one, Rest comes in and he absolutely pops off. Like his Cassante was probably the best Cassante we've
Yeah.
seen so far in the LCP. He plays extremely well. He completely like just shits on Stella for lack of a better word. And then gets subbed out, to which we see Driver come in and he kind of just does nothing the rest of the series. So it's like, I don't understand the reasoning that CFO have behind constantly swapping out their top laner. Because to me, I feel like that's just going to make their whatever top laner they use at any stage, if they're sharing stage games, less strong or less connected than if they were to just use like one predominantly and sub in driver or rest depending on how the series is going, rather than rest comes in, completely shits on Stella, driver comes in, doesn't do anything, and they keep driver in for the third game, who again just doesn't really do anything in that game either, and it just looks really really weird to me.
Yeah, kind of. So it's like, oh wait a moment, because the point is, I think, from what I've heard is I think, Rest actually did. Oh, sorry, Rest actually did some interviews yesterday with the caster desk yesterday, and
Mm-hmm.
what they talk about is, they just want two of them to play together to at least do some like not just AFKing. So that's what's their approach on.
Okay, interesting.
It's kind of about the same with like last year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like FAK. Like we just want to uh, uh rest also like not speak is like Kairing's decision. Like Kairing's thought is this better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I kind of agree on that too. Like at least in speed one we can do a lot more on this, but maybe the period of time comes. I think that will actually change. Maybe we'll settle
Yeah.
for one is better.
Fair. I
Yep.
think one other thing was Eddie outperformed Doggo infinitesimally. Like he played so much better than Doggo this series. Doggo had a good Kaiser game, but other than that, it was like I don't know. Eddie was just so much better.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, wait a moment. I think one of my OPS is dead.
Okay, then I'll quickly say that I think having two people swap around for split one is completely fine. I think if this extends on to like split two or split three, where things are still swapping just every single series and they don't know who to use, I think that's when it becomes a problem. I think it's actually refreshing to see a team in Split 1 actually use Split 1 as the fake kind of split it is, just to use it as practice. But I would say that, at least for CFO and Talon, they do have a lot of pressure in this split. So as much as it makes some sense to fuck around, they can't fuck around too much because of just who they are, which is kind of funny. But I think it's a good place to do it.
Yeah. No, I was also like Secret Rares also swap heroes out for this series. It's kind of surprising to me, because I always
I don't get that one.
like hero is like the battle one, but somehow they win with Stella, so all good.
Yeah, I think Stella did. I think Stella did fine. I guess nothing that special, but did a serviceable job. I think the biggest gap here was just in the AD carry position, though. I think a lot. I mean, bot lane in general. I think Eddie and Taki played considerably better than Doggo and Tywing throughout this series. The funny game. I mean, like game number 3 was just. It was so beautiful to watch. Just like Varus losing flash, and then for 5 minutes straight, he's just getting completely one shot on repeat and not able to do anything.
You just can't play the game.
I loved watching it. I honestly just had so much joy watching this Varus get killed on repeat. And like I remember, I don't know if you guys remember as well, it was it might have even been 2023, but it was back when like Wako was the only person playing Varus. And he played a game of Varus and it was against Nocturne, and he just went for like 3rd item Zhonya's. So that way it was just like, okay, even if it's
it should have been 2nd item Zhonya's. I already talked to people about this game. This is like definitely a second item Zhonya's game.
Yeah, because like ultimately the only person they can really fully commit onto is Doggo. Like everyone else, like even if they go on Honku, like he's gonna be able to survive for a while or like turn it around. Whereas Doggo can't really do much. He's just fodder. He's just cannon fodder. And so yeah, I don't know. It was Wako that did it before that I saw, where he just went for a really early Zhonya's, but Doggo didn't do that, and so he just. I mean, you see a scoreline there. It's 1-8 and 8. It's pretty poor showing.
I mean, it's very difficult for him to be honest, that game. And also like yeah, I mean, I remember very hardly like the day before they play the game, I told Kevin to fucking ban Nocturne against Vietnamese, like all VCS teams. You just need to fucking ban Nocturne. Like I don't know why the fuck they decided to open it on the last game. It's fucking weird. Like
I don't know.
They ban like every game against like again Vikings or something like that, and they somehow like in the last game they just opened it and this just got fucked.
YOLO.
Yeah, YOLO in the draft.
Yeah.
And also want to add to the point that I mean I remember that way before, like in the first week that we talked about like some of the expectation from Secret Whales roster is also the botting. Like they like on paper they are really good, and I'm really glad that they actually show up. Like nowadays, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, you can just move on to the next one. Will be Chiefs against SXG. Okay, the reason I put it here is like that's the silver linings for either of them to get to playoff. And to be honest, it's also kind of interesting early game. Like the early game is fine, but everything just falls apart quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the game 1 was a bit of a stomp, all things considered. Like, it wasn't just completely over by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly never looked like Chiefs were going to win. But I think the second game was looking pretty good, because ultimately Biopanther was essentially solo killing Eevee and completely dominating top, to be honest. Like, just completely dominating Eevee this game. But where it all fell apart was, like, this one fight around the top mid bush, where Biopanther is, like, pushed out bot, he's walking up through river, and while he is still at about the Dragon Pit, Chiefs engage a fight and just get completely wiped before Biopanther can get there. And at this stage of the game, it's like pretty even outside of Bio, who's very far ahead as Ornn. And so they just didn't have where all the gold was. It was a 4v5 and they get wiped, and then the game is just like, okay, this seems pretty unplayable. There was one fight where I thought maybe it could turn, where they got the reset on Marble, who was like 606 at the time and really strong. And Mir picked up Marble and was like trying to kill Evie, went for the execute, but Evie put up his W, and then it just fell apart at that point.
I mean, that's also interesting. Like I think Chiefs really wants to win this series also, because yeah, let's try some wins, and well, we know the result that they they lost all the games the later weeks also. So kind of sad of them. How do you guys think like in general how they do in this split?
The Chiefs?
Yeah, of course, yeah, Chiefs.
Oh, I mean, disgraceful. To be honest, I try to I mean, obviously this is my region, right? Like I'm an Oceanic resident, and I'm a big supporter of the Chiefs, but this was a pretty disgraceful showing, and I think anyone who doesn't think so is kind of kidding themselves. Even if it's like the first split, it doesn't matter. You're trying to learn. It actively felt like they were going backwards. Like the earlier weeks, they looked better than they did by the end. And obviously, other teams were improving along the way, but it just actually looked like they were getting actively worse week by week. And I think that is, just a pretty disgraceful position to find yourself in as a team that has the best opportunity an Oceanic organization has ever had.
I think that's appropriately harsh, but maybe a little bit too far in my opinion. I think overall the split was probably a bit worse than what everyone was kind of hoping for, but it wasn't out of the realm of what was acceptable. Because I think coming in, everyone knew split 1 was just going to kind of suck. It's fine. Split 2 might even suck a little bit too, but the goal is to try and improve throughout the year, and then hopefully split 3 you're a decent team. I think the way that it happened though is a bit more sad. At least if you were able to get some game wins, a bit more competitive. If you were last place but you looked competitive for all 4 weeks and got a few more wins, I think things would be a lot better to give them a grade. But I think just overall, what's more concerning is kind of what you were alluding to, is they didn't really progress or improve.
Yeah.
I imagine we've seen the news of Lemus retiring. I imagined that didn't just happen yesterday. That was more of something that happened earlier on in the split, and that probably had ripple effects on the team. Even if he didn't tell people, maybe he hasn't been practicing as hard because he knows he's quitting. So obviously it's not the greatest place in the world to improve or work. So I think that's something to consider as well, that hey, if you have one person who's looking to retire, it might be a little bit difficult to kind of push on and motivate everyone for the final few weeks when you start so terribly. But I think overall, just the players need to improve individually before there's any sort of team improvement. I don't know how they intend to approach Split 2. As far as I know, the vibes are good somehow. I don't know if that's just speak. My vibes would not be good in this scenario. But if they're able to keep a positive attitude and move on into Split 2, they'll have a new AD. I don't know if they're making the other roster changes. They're gonna have this new sort of you get the honeymoon phase with a new player. That always helps. If your mental's good, you can start to rack up some wins and go on a streak. But I don't know if they have the right structure to actually improve in playing the game.
Yeah. I can't obviously leak anything, but I know who the new ADK is going to be, and if nothing else, he is a grinder. He is someone
I think everyone knows who it is.
Yeah,
they're very limited. It's an OCD.
Yeah, but he is a grinder. He's an absolute grinder, and if nothing else, I in a team environment where everyone's trying to be the best, even if you're not getting immediate results, if the whole team can see this one player is actively okay, you've come home lost, gone for a VOD, and straight back into solo queue. It's definitely a motivation raiser. Other people will get motivated by the fact that this new guy's come in and he's working hard to earn his dues, essentially.
Yeah. It reminds me of the BDS Crowley situation. Are you familiar with that story?
Rejog my memory.
It was the Grabs BDS version where he had a 10-man roster and he was swapping between academy and the main team. But they had X-Matty and Crowley for the AD position, and they did a Korean boot camp, and Crowley won every single one of his games. He was smashing. That was the caveat that he had also Nuke on his team most of the time, and Nuke was just like 1v9. So if a game had Nuke and Crowley on one team, they just like instantly win. But basically in scrims, it was very clear that Crowley was way better. However, X-Matty was the perfect student, the perfect team member, ultimately try hard, did everything to the best. And for BDS and Grabs, they thought as a developmental roster, having someone that on your team is really important. So everyone could look to them and be like, okay, this guy's working really fucking hard. I need to work really fucking hard. Like, we want to improve. We need to be like this. Now, is it the best roster for winning? Absolutely not. If they just wanted to grind out some wins and be middle of the pack in LEC, of course they should have started Crowley. They also wanted to be competitive in the ERLs. So Crowley in ERL was a bit of cheat code. So they were able to win a ton of games there. So I think when people look back on it, they think it's like disgraceful, and I know like Crowley personally, so I know he is like really tilted and triggered by it. But I can see the angle, right? Is it something I would do? Maybe not. I think every win in tier 1 is important as you get, but when you're trying to develop and improve over the year, what Chiefs are gonna do, at least having someone who's like permanently grinding. He might not be the best, but as you say, if someone is working their ass off, it should elevate the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and I mean,
interesting.
ultimately, oh, you go. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, 'cause, I always like I also agree on like from my perspective. I think to me, Chiefs kind of disappointed like after the break. Like before the break, at least they showed many games they are very close and competitive. But
Mhm.
like after the break, I've like like the in game, I just feel like they kind of lost over before it started. That's what I
Yeah,
felt. Yeah, as an
it was
outsider.
Biopanther or bust.
Yeah. At least like only Bio is performing. At least playing on
Mhm.
He's the
can
only one
match
who
the
wasn't
level.
last in his position.
Yep.
Yeah. And like all four of them are just kind of defeated. And as I always mention again, like I still kind of disappointed on how Luan's playing, like throughout the whole split. So I'm actually a bit of surprised they already like get rid of Libas first, but not but another
Yeah.
find other support also.
Well,
We're never gonna learn
he
the
chose to.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think like to me, the person coming in is like I would say just the same level of player as Lemus. I don't think there's any
I think he's
discernible
more of a
difference.
carry, which does give them a
Yes,
focal point, which I think
he
this
definitely
team
is.
lacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is true. He is, but I mean, like in terms of like raw skill and like wherever their stat bars are, I think they're pretty much on a similar level. But the big difference being like a willingness to grind, and as we've already talked about, I think that's going to be really, really important. Because just you just look at their games and you can tell there's like clearly something missing, right? Like even
Yeah.
if other teams are improving, they should still be improving at a similar rate, not just actively regressing in their skill. Like in every position except for Biopanther, who maintained a pretty dominant form, I guess, in the top lane the whole split.
Yeah. At least he can hold himself out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I hope they do well. Because Poltram said he would retire if they don't make playoffs, and I hope that doesn't
yeah,
happen.
yeah. That would
I,
suck.
I don't know where do they just need to finish top 6 for playoffs in Split 2. I remember Split 2
Yes,
having some funky format.
I think it's the same. I'm pretty sure the
Yeah, still
playoff
top
will
6.
be top 6 the entire year through.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, but
is
yeah, the
doable.
format's exactly the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Regular seasons are a lot different, but yeah, playoffs
Yeah,
should remain the
literally.
same.
Okay.
Yeah. For the next one. Okay, the VCS King versus the PCS King.
Yeah, good series.
Yeah, good series.
3 stomps.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about game, but I don't know what you guys think about game. But like every time when they goes into the third game, like I always feel that they will get stumped, and maybe from draft or maybe from some very dumb mistakes. It's always
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, I mean the fucking Tryndamere was perplexing. I'm gonna be honest. Like I can imagine if you pick the Tryndamere mid against a team that's worse than you, that it could work out pretty well. But like Fofo's just not bad enough to be punished by mispositioning in lane and getting chunked out by a Tryndamere. And you saw that, like, we were 25 minutes into the game and Tryndamere had done 600 damage to champs.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can actually see it working against a team worse than you. This one pick, but in reality, when you've gone against Fofo, he's just used it to free scale on Azir, and like the rest of the map has complete control. I mean, you managed to get fucking Skarner again, and Azir with permanent prio, so he's not really being punished for being weaker in the early stages than most control mages. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, a bit of a disaster in game one, but they really turned it around in game two. I like their idea with the Camille and the Aurora and Misfortune, like a lot of lockup, and ultimately just very destructive and well played.
Yeah, I mean, like, game two is again giving Finname's team a fucking Nocturne.
Wombo.
Again,
Makes
bro,
life so easy. Just click R.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think for the rest of this, like, in the playoffs, at least no PCS team should be opening Nocturne to any VCS teams. I hope so, or else I will kick their coach. I'll just message them. I'll message Xavi, message Koji. Like, what the fuck I guess doing? Like, there's so many games lost by that. And yeah, I mean, like in the game one and game three, like, Talon's drive is really kind of back to their style. Like the game two's one, I'm not too really agree on. So like my format, like Talon's format to success is always like top lane gets pyro, then mid is always scaling, like he can carry in the late game fight. Jungle and support are kind of the engager, and but they need some earlier mid to power. And so like game 1 and game 3 I really like the drafts, but game 2 again they putting like the Pantheon and Orianna. Orianna is kind of a different. It's kind of a hard meta now. Like I understand like why teams pick her, and I understand like the combos in there is good. Her laning is fine, but in the mid to late game it's kind of a lack of damage here, so it's not really fit into like the talent system in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that makes sense that I think overall she just doesn't seem like the best champ for LCP, where games are a bit more chaotic. She wants kind of slow fight so she can play front to back quite easily. But this game she looked mega OP just because it was a stomp. And if you're ahead, it is a really strong champ because they have limited engage first year, which is kind of cool. But I think I don't want to see this champ anymore, especially after the nerfs.
I mean, Mel's Mel is also like, I mean this. I mean, I remember that this is the first Mel's win, right? From Volvo.
Yes,
Yeah, it was.
it was.
It is interesting. Like the other games that got picked. I mean, Limas picked it one for bot lane, and the other games.
Yeah, that one was rough.
Yeah, just
Yeah, the rumors I heard about that, by the way, is his first ever time playing it. So
no way.
that is what I've heard from. Yeah,
that's why he retired, right?
That's a funny one.
yeah. I'm like, I don't know if it's true, but that is what I heard. So,
God damn.
but it was so funny seeing the Talon post after that. I don't know if you all saw it too. I think
Yeah,
you did,
Corgi.
where Corgi is just saying the Chiefs have no idea how to play Mal.
Yeah.
Just kept it strays no matter what.
But it's also a difficult champ because I think like even like Faker plays it on the series, the T1 Hallmark series. I think it didn't really do as much as expected. I think it's a hard champ to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I don't know.
Overpowered one.
I have to say, and like this series isn't the worst display of it, but I think Talon's drafts have been abysmal. Like, I think more often than not, and half the time they end up winning the game anyway, but they draft themselves in a position that doesn't feel like they should be able to win. But they just often do because they have better hands, you know? And I think this game, like, the drafts are ultimately okay. Like, there's no massive gap that you see anywhere. Maybe excluding the second game where it's like, what's our win condition here is Talon. Like, we're just praying for the perfect Gnar team fight or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Talon are often drafting themselves into holes currently.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's always like why they are losing some games, or at least close in some games, right?
Yeah. It always has been as well. Like, that's always been the issue they've had.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Again, Talent against CFO. The two
Another banger.
top teams. Yeah. What do you guys think of this?
Do you want to go Molecule?
Sure, I'll go first on this one. I think coming into the series, I was really expecting. I don't know what I was expecting because it was coming off like CFO were a bit dodgy, and then Talon were doing really well, and then in the series, I felt like it was. It just felt like CFO would just had a bit more. I don't know the best way to describe it. Just a bit more clutch factor. I guess as these games were going like quite long and they were quite even for a long time. I wouldn't say any of these games were like mega stomps. And then normally I would consider Talon to be the one where they're just like when it goes later they just like in previous years it would just go late and they had Maple and just like randomly you look at the map and it's winning somehow through some crazy macro. But this game it just felt like they didn't. Like they didn't have like that thing where it's just oh, the game's even, you wait a few minutes and it's like, oh, PSG's winning, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, well, of course they are full.
Didn't really have that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think game 2 was a stomp.
I mean, I guess once Draven isn't Astro fed, it's difficult.
I mean, they started like 8-0 and then Betty made a mistake to go down a shutdown, but like after that, Doggo didn't really have any impact.
Yeah, they just get mega outraged. It's difficult for Draven.
Yeah, I liked the Xerath, by the way. I thought the Xerath was really good.
Xerath
like,
is good champ.
It's cool.
Yeah. And against the control mages where it just outranges is really nice as well.
Yeah, I mean, like draft wise again, I kind of like game 1 is kind of a loss from Talon already. Like Pantheon again, like why you're forcing that. I know that Pantheon is good into.
It is the best AD jungler. It's so good.
It is, but not in fucking Caster's hand, you know.
Yeah,
that is true. He's looked pretty bad at it.
Yeah, like when you put it maybe on Hisso, maybe on like Guri, it's fine, but not in Caster's hand. Caster needs to play some frontline engage. No.
Yeah.
Caster has ADHD. He wants to go in. He's like, I'm fucking going. I'm going in.
Yeah. There's no way Caster is playing good Pantheon.
I'm also sick of seeing the Jace. I think like Jace is in a position again. It feels like where if you're a good Jace player, then it can work. Like if you're someone that plays Jace even before it became this tank Jace, then it's like still playable. But the people that picked up Jace because it was a tank and like you got away with not actually knowing how to play the champion, but just sitting in front of 4 people and living, it looks terrible. Like Cassante is like ahead coming out of lane. I think something like 5 out of 6 games now is like the Cassante is versing the Jace, comes out of lane ahead, and it's like, well, now what? Because the Cassante is just objectively a better champion. It feels you have an extra bit of poke, which doesn't really land like it does with that full like lethality Jace we used to see. It's like this small chunk that ultimately gets healed up through honey fruit or lifesteal. And it's like, what's the point in this Jace anymore? Unless you are good. Like Hero, for example, seems like he's actually a good Jace player. So he's picking the Jace, and he is being pretty dominant with it. But like every other Jace is just looking horrendous.
Yeah. Like in general, LCP Jace is just kind of bad. Yeah. I mean, like maybe LCK or LP, some of the LPL and LCK is like fine, but
yeah, they've been playing it mid though.
Yeah, more than mid nowadays.
But yeah, I think like if you get the option, because ultimately I can't remember exactly how this draft panned out, but I remember in game 1, it was like Xin I think was picked first or something like that. So Talon could have just taken Cassante and then Cassante Pantheon or whatever it was, but instead they went Jace Pantheon.
I think that's it.
Yes, I think you're right actually. Yeah, they pick a Zia, so you could have just gone Cassante Pantheon. Instead they went Jace Pantheon, so Rest played Cassante again, and we saw like his Cassante game 1, the series they lost against Team Secret. It was like, okay, this guy is crazy at the champ.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, if you're a top laner, you kind of have to be, but like, I just don't get it. I don't understand the mega priority around this Jace when it just seems worse than like Cassante, Rumble, Udyr. I don't know. It's really perplexing to me.
Yeah, Cassante should be the best in LCP. Yep, they copy LCK.
They copy SDK. That's the only explanation.
I mean, it's the same as 2020 and 2021 when like Nuguri was playing crazy shit and the West is like, you know what, I'm gonna play Kleptomancy Vladimir too. And then the
Yeah,
fucking like
fuck
0 and 10 completely useless. And I think Jace is the same, but when there's smaller changes, like smaller nerfs, because when things like this happen and it's on a champion which still wins lane, they get so much fake data. Whereas they still win lane and they're like, yeah, the champ is still good, right? And it's like not doing anything later, and then they'll just be like, oh, it's just the way we play, or fights are shit, it's not my fault, I had a lead, blah, blah, blah. That sort of thing is not helpful. But I think teams are not going to drop it, but I agree they should. I think it looks piss useless in this league.
But also like draft wise, I fucking hate Talon's game 3 draft again. Like
Yeah.
because I remember like CFO fucking first pick Rakan, right? They fucking first pick Rakan, then Talon goes with Nocturne.
I win
Like,
Classic.
what the fuck is that, bro? Like wow.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine like
Yeah.
yeah, it's so fucking
They
weird.
gave like this Xayah champ is so hard to pick. Like it's actually so hard to pick with the champions that are good right now. And somehow we gave 4 champions that like okay, maybe 3 champions, I guess, that Xayah is exceptionally good into. You know, doesn't do the greatest against Aurora or Corki, but like can play against them ultimately
Yeah.
in comparison to a lot of the other champs that League of Legends has available. I don't know how we found ourselves in a position where Xayah was like genuinely the best AD carry to pick, because that like barely ever happens.
No, I mean like the draft is so miserable that when 10 first pick, like the R1 R2 with Nocturne and Aurora, and somehow they didn't fucking ban Galio. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck is that, bro?
Orgy.
Yeah.
Just and I just check it. They banned Oriana and Talia. Like what the fuck, bro? Why
Yeah.
is that? Like we have Nocturne is very fucking good against like Talia, and why the fuck you ban Talia instead of Galia? Like, and I remember like Honky also like play Galia before, so I don't know, bro. It's kind of miserable, bro. I hope they don't fumble later in playoff because I still hope they got banger games like game and turn game 3 drafts. Like please fix it.
Yeah. Do you think this is one of the best carry games this series from Ginger?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Then like I understand, like at least my perspective of it is like Ginger is the best jungler in the league, but he always goes internationally and just looks exceptionally mediocre. And I think like the whole reason why Talon would want Kasa over Ginger is you've got like a bit more of a coin flip of a player, where while he's definitely not as stable or consistent as Ginger, maybe you go international and he has like the Maple effect where he turns online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where Maples always looks good, but like when he goes international, he looks like an entirely different player. And I'm sort of thinking for them, that's like kind of what they're trying to get out of Kasa. Is like, okay, we might not have the most amazing looking jungler in the regular season, but we should be good enough to get there anyway. And then Kasa comes into First Strike or whatever other internationals, and then he like looks like a beast, which he has in the past in his career. So I can see the vision. It's just you saw it here on full display. I think Ginger is just clearing every single jungler in the league.
Yeah. There's also like kind of like this series is actually the story behind is just Kaza versus Jinja, and Jinja clearly plays better the whole series.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So
And Kasa did have a really good game too. I think.
yeah,
Got to
of course.
credit to that.
Yeah. Moving to the next one will be the fight of Japan.
Oh yeah, this was kind of a low key banger too.
Yeah, it's close and it's dragged out. I would say dragged out most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's expected. I don't think either of these teams are particularly good at closing out from leading positions.
Yeah. To be honest, I expected DFM to win the series because I think at least I hope because I'm more friends with them, but maybe I hate to say that, but actually DFM need Milan back. That's kind of
Return.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird.
Yeah, I thought Kakun can be their savior, but nope.
I mean, he is a scrim god, so I don't know what's going wrong on stage. But they definitely should have won a lot of their games and series. So it's kind of the same way that this DFM is what I hoped from Chiefs, where they're like winning a few games. They look competitive at points. They almost beat some like really good teams. Like DFM probably should have beat Talon, for example. But like if you're falling apart and you can't get over the line, it still feels okay. You won some games, you can see some progress, like things are going well. I think ultimately if this was like Chiefs, for example, instead of DFM, I'd be like, yeah, this is like not the worst split. I think for DFM it's a bit more annoying considering I know they are like doing well in scrims. Like you get so close it feels bad. But if they were to like take a step back and be like, okay, split one, you're gonna finish 7th. How do you feel about that? They might be like, kind of sucks, but it's not that bad, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
overall it could be okay. I think this is the one where Ray was like absolutely inting, right? Yeah, game
Yeah.
one.
I mean, like Ray
And
is
he was like
kind of
AFK
inting,
TPing.
inting more and more
Yes, he is.
nowadays. But also like, I mean, like from SSG side is I not too sure is Marble like playing better or like the whole team. Because Marble is especially I remember that at this series is he kind of really plays good. Like he's
Yeah.
not really dying early in the fight and doing tons of damage. I mean, it's a wake up call with them, and also for Fate. Like Fate need to fucking step up in the playoff if they really want to move forward in the understandings.
And not. Spoiler.
Right,
They have Vikings. It's Joker.
it's time. Yes, yeah. They chose. Oh, they didn't choose, but yeah, I think if split 2 looks bad for DFM, it's time to drop the bag on Utapon.
Yeah,
is
of course.
is how
That's the
I
only
view it.
way.
Because I think ultimately, even if Milan comes back, he's probably not that much better than Kakun to make a substantial difference. I think Udapon just, I mean, he has been the best AD carry in Japan for years, and based on this, you can see why he's
He
just
could maybe
a lot
save
more
the day.
consistent. Yeah, I think he could. Like Arya has been performing out of his goddamn mind. Like actually,
Yeah.
just
I think he's a top 2 mid.
yeah. I would,
Which is
I
like
would, I would,
insane.
He should.
yeah. I would say he's yeah. I would argue that maybe like himself, Fofo, and probably Cardi for me have been like performing the
Yeah,
best in
that'd
the
be
mid
my 1,
lane.
2, 3.
So yeah, I don't know. I think like you get a better AD carry because like again, under the circumstances, you can't really fault Kakun.
I mean,
But
like also like, are there any replacement for Ray Faki?
I
Except
wouldn't think so.
Before the split start, I think like he's like the only Japan serviceable top laner. But I don't know, is it his confidence kind of lost now? Like I remember like in the early stage he's still fine. Out. Like even last year when he was in the PCS playoff, he's still kind of fine. But this split is kind of same as Shift. He's just regressing and there's lots of mistakes coming in. So I'm not too sure. But of course, the Japanese top laners pool is very small compared to like whatever. So I'll be kind of interested in here, or maybe even they bring another AD carry in and Utapon go to top. You know, Utapon always like to play top.
Oh my
yeah.
god. No.
Maybe that will be the case.
Bring back the Utapon top, you reckon?
Yeah, I think like also like
I don't think that's the angle.
no, no, I mean Utapon top is kind of fine to be honest.
I don't know. We'll see.
But they still need AD carry, so actually they need two Utapon.
Yeah, they need him to play twice.
Yeah.
2 roles.
Clone that guy, the savior of Japan.
Chiefs need 5 bios and DFM need 5 Utapons.
Yeah. Damn, Chiefs would be so good if Biopanther was cloned 5 times.
Yeah. Although 80 carry might be a problem, but it's fine. Just play some tanks.
No, Biopanther actually plays Nyla. That's his AD carry of choice.
Oh,
Nyla,
okay.
Nyla, Sivir.
That's my champ, bro.
Nyla, Sivir are his 2 AD carries.
Okay.
Yeah. We've seen one Sivir. It looked dreadful. It looked completely
Sivir
dreadful.
is so good. I think Sivir is mega OP.
Yeah, Yes.
You watch
I
it in
think she's good
LEC,
too.
watch an LEC, you scale, free win.
Yeah, no, I think Civ is a good champion as well, but like teams here are just very risk averse, and if LCK aren't playing them, well, they aren't either.
Yeah, I'm a bit sad how much we're copying out LCK this year. I mean, I knew we were going to,
Yeah,
but
DCG's not in, pal.
I at least like thought there would be like something. It's like, oh, we got some Fearless, we got some Vietnamese. It's gonna be a little exciting, right? But
Well, to
it's
be
a bit
honest,
of
the Vietnamese
copying.
team is kind of exciting though.
No, they
Yeah.
are. They are. They just
Yeah.
fucking fight. They just fight everything. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I do enjoy them having like being in the league. I just wanted some more fun picks.
Yeah, go to the next one. So Secret Rails against Game and other lost by
Stomp.
Game. Yeah, it's just fucking stomp. Anyone expect this? And it's
Nope.
not from me.
No, not at all.
I mean,
But
if you're telling me that before the split, Game will lose, like will be the bottom from the all the VCS teams, like I would
Yeah.
say, what the fuck are you thinking?
they
Yeah.
can still bring it around in playoffs. But yeah, I mean, my perspective, I think like Team Secret Wales and Vikings in particular just have such an insane understanding of lane swapping, and like that is where they find so much success. Like these two teams in particular are just winning every single early game. Like every single early game because they just identify like correct ways to lane swap, whether it's like put your duo in the mid lane and then send your mid lane a top or bot, depending. You know, they've just really got a good grasp, and then how to play around it too. So I think other teams are going to have to learn to deal with that, or learn what they're doing, study what they're doing, because even Garm didn't seem to have an answer for like map pressure that was being put out by Team Secret Wales.
Yeah, I think that the pace and the tempo, like especially Secret Wheels bringing, is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Like I kind of feel they also have like some of the LPL's kind of aggression in the early game, and at least the pace and the link swapping, or even just like the mid game macro, they've shown that they improved from the early stages of the split. Like against, like if now, I mean, if they go back to play Talon for the game one with that lead, I think they will close it out now. I mean, they should close it out with how they play in the last two week. So yeah, but also like from Gam, I'm kind of disappointed that they actually swap easy enough for Artemis. Like that's actually surprising because I always thought that they will swap mid first instead of AD carry. And also like draft wise, Gam is just kind of miserable. Maybe back in the VCS days, they can just YOLO everything. Like they can pick whatever, like talent in PCS. They would just pick whatever and they can win. But it seems it's not that matter already, not that day already. And like the game run draft is kind of weird for me also. Like you fucking have by Rumble, then you pick the fucking Ferris and Kama. Like, sorry, and you pick the Kaylin and Kama.
Karma, yeah.
Kaylin Kama. Like what are you trying to achieve here? It's kind of weird. And like even in game two, you I kind of find that they pick Renata and Lee Sin, but there's just no synergy there, and they're just kind of YOLOing the game.
Yeah, I mean,
wonder. Oh,
you go. No,
Okay. This game had this series had no stakes, so they knew they were going to face again in the playoffs. So I wonder if GAM were kind of taking it off and trying not to show too much, because these drafts are like, it looks like they're trying to lose draft. It's like that's how bad they are, and also subbing an easy love. So I think this could be a day where GAM were kind of sacking it off. Like obviously they weren't trying to lose. I'm not saying that, but if they lost, they wouldn't mind. So they could focus on the playoffs, where they're gonna face off against Secret Wales again.
Yeah, I could see it too.
Because it's such a tight window. It was only 3 days ago.
Yeah,
that's true.
You don't want to show everything.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I think bringing in Easy Love does tend to lead towards like, okay, the result here doesn't really matter. Like obviously bringing him, if they win, that's a good thing. But it's not a high stakes game, so they don't need to go too all out. It is like, I don't know. It is. Hopefully that's the case, to be honest, because like their draft does just suck. I know a lot of AD carries were ultimately banned in game 2.
Yeah.
What was it? It was like Ezreal, Callista, Kai'Sa, Misfortune, Corki, Ashe, plus whatever else was removed. The Caitlyn and Varus. So like there weren't really any AD carries left. But like you've got Renata, and like there's just nothing to pair with it. Like what Renata Zeri is a fake lane. It is a super fake lane. So yeah, I don't know. It's like there doesn't seem like any synergy anywhere. But that, I mean, it happens. It doesn't. The stakes were extremely low for this game. Team Secret Wales did set them up for a potential second, but that relied on Chiefs winning. So yeah,
That's that. Okay, yeah, let's just go for the next one. Oh, it is the last game, right? Talon
Yeah.
against Vikings.
another banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I mean,
one
like,
was fun.
to be honest, I think Vikings should also like just 2-0 the series. Like game 1, they actually got a very big lead in the early mid games, but
Yeah.
again, Talon just played the patience game. Like they did, like Vikings overstep in the bot lane fight. I remember. Then like Kai'Sa just pulled two of the guys from Vikings and kind of win, like come back in the early stages.
Yeah.
And at the Baron fight, right? The Baron fight, I think Vikings just kind of get caught for the recall, and Talon just sneak the Baron and just end the game. I think like that's how game 1 ends.
Yeah, I mean, Kai'Sa did his best to let Vikings win it by smiting the Baron on 1,300 HP and then Guri stealing it with a flame pillar. But yeah, it was like game 1 they should have won. There was one they went way too aggressive on one bot fight. Woody 3-man engaged on them, and then Kai'Sa yeeted 2 of them. And Betty, who was down like 1.5k gold, got a shutdown and a double kill, and then kind of just was able to run away with it. I actually think for this game, like Betty's score looks the prettiest, but I think to me it was like Woody, Kai'Sa, or Arja were like the reason they won. More so,
Woody
I
is
think
interesting. I mean, we can talk about it, like the players later on, because we're going to rank the team also. Because yeah, but I like from this series, the draft wise, again, game 2, are kind of very like again, like what the fuck you give Nocturne. Again, like why the fuck you do this? Like every time, and you just give Nocturne and you lose. That's how it goes. And also interesting from Zero, that brings out the Andy against Ares. Although to be honest, like in the early game is kind of weird.
It was inting.
Yeah, it was very inting, but in theory it should work out. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it works in theory, but it's something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more for the team composition in a way than directly the Elise. Obviously, it did well against Elise, because if you have your stun, Elise can't really go forward. She is like just going to die within that duration. But I mean, Akadi with one really good roam mid, and Xiulong found so many different amazing engages. It was just, and Kratos as well. I mean, they just man-to-man outperformed the entirety of Talon in game 2. Like, it was just clear as day. I mean, Betty and Shogun were interchangeable, I guess, but outside of that, I mean, the top side and Xiulong played much better than their counterparts in game 2, and just honestly, that was a complete stomp. And that's how game number 1 should have looked, to be fair.
Yeah.
After how it started.
True. Yeah.
I think as long as Vikings have some sort of wacky support where they can put their bot lane mid and it actually has threat, so whether it's Pyke, Annie, whatever. But if you played Leona, Nautilus, Rel, they don't have this threat when they do their 2-man mid strat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as long as they just keep finding picks to just play around mid, but just put Xiulong on, it doesn't even have to be a support champ. You can start picking real weird things because the way they're playing the game is like very like Fiesta-like, but it has to be reliant on this mid lane situation in the early levels. And it seems like the other teams have no idea how to slow the game down yet. So I'm down for them to just pick any sort of crazy thing, because all they need is just a range champ, some sort of CC, or some sort of kill threat, because his Pyke is obviously amazing because it goes fog and he's just very good mechanically at it. But it needs to have some sort of threat, which is really cool. I hope they pull out some weird things. I don't know how weird they can get. Maybe they play something like Fiddle. I think Fiddle could work in this sort of situation.
Yeah, that could be cool.
But that's like the sort of thing they can do where you're not necessarily picking for lane because you get a free lane and then you're just moving around. So you kind of just want something CC and has like strong 2v2 or 3v3 in the jungle. So it's
Sure.
pretty interesting the way that it's working. To be honest, when they started spamming it, I thought everyone was just gonna match because like they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like anyone who's scrimmed Vikings or played Vikings knows the draft. It's like you see the draft and it's like, okay, they're going mid. And then they do like this weird level 1 shit. It's normally with Ashe, they're like invading both sides, getting wards, and it's like you kind of just have to let it happen. And then why don't you just match? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's a short
they
lane. You
tried
can't get shit on.
They tried to in game 3, right? But that was so they went mid. The bot lane for Vikings went mid both game 1 and 2. And so and Talon clearly have not worked out how to scout for it. Like they just clearly they look like lost chickens in the level 1. So in game 3 they just gambled, put their mid lane into their bot lane into the mid lane, but that was the one game that the lane swap from Vikings went top. So Fofo again found himself in a 2v1. But this time, the big difference was when Siu Long went for the tower dive, it was just a complete grief because Castle was there and they got a kill back over to
I'm gonna blame
Fofo.
Corgi because I think looking at the Vikings game 1 and 2 drafts, they're going mid. And game 3 isn't one of the ones where they do it. Like Sky's scrimmed against it. I've seen scrims. I've watched the officials. It's so obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it does, but that's what it seemed like to me, right? Like it seemed like we got to game 3, realized that Fofo cannot play the game with this 2v1 going on mid because we don't know how to answer it properly, or like we try to answer it, but Woody's like one wave too late, which is what happened in game 1 when Fofo just died, and we're just like, okay, we'll gamble it, put the bot lane into mid, and then it was actually bot lane top, and Fofo again was just zoned out of CS while Cardi was staying on the clock. Like he was at the amount of CS you'd expect from a 1v1 lane because he's Karma. And so, like, again, that game number 3 probably should have been another game where Talon is going to struggle to win, but they went for a far too aggressive dive, unfortunately, where Woody was there and Casa was also there, where they were able to just stun Siu Long under the tower, and Fofo got his gold, and despite being down 20 CS, was actually even in gold in total.
Yeah, that's true. It's very interesting from Vikings that they keep doing it and they keep getting away with it.
Yeah. I thought it would be like easy to answer, but it just isn't. It just adds so much chaos to the game, and they thrive in it. This is like OG VCS style, just like making chaos.
They have Fiesta everywhere.
Yeah.
But also like Vikings game 3 draft is, to be honest, I think it's just a bad draft. They will lose this anyway. Like in the middle of the game, where the fuck the damage is coming from up? Like you have Karma and Israel, and somehow you got a fucking Lee Sin and Maokai. Like what the fuck is this?
It's a weird one.
Yeah, you're reliant on poke against a team that ultimately doesn't need to be poked out to contest, right? Arja can just face tank a lot of that, and Casa can block it, and then ultimately Fofo shouldn't be in a position to be being poked out. So,
I mean, in this matter, it's just we can't replicate season 7, season 6. Like poke com is just not here already. Like this game, you need damage to, or need some at least explosive damage to win fights. And like the Vikings draft is just what the fuck they would do in that game.
For sure. Definitely not season 7 though. That was Ardent Censor. That was my favorite season. I love that. But I don't know. Talon just outclassed. Ultimately, I think that's pretty much it. The mid game was a little bit too poor out of Vikings.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the standing of the Split 1 LCP. Oh, actually, they got a name, like season kickoff.
Yeah.
Fake name.
Yeah, fake name. And to be honest, I think the standing is kind of like what I expected, except the game should be effort in the first place. But yeah, this seems fair for me.
Yeah, I mean, coming in, this is not what I would have had. I would have had Talon and CFOs first and second, but the rest of it is shaken up quite a lot, I think. But yeah, I mean, after week 1, it wasn't too much of a stretch of the imagination to see this being the final standings, I think.
Was the original one? I actually think that we talked about it in week 1, right?
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
I don't think we had any full list, but I remember I had GAM third. Fourth,
Yeah.
I had SHG, and then I had Vikings and Chiefs, I think, and then I had Secret Wells and DFM in last place. Now, my list was very biased and had scrim knowledge, and I will go on saying, and I know Kevin had it as well, like KMT, the CFO guy.
Mm.
Vikings and Wales in scrims before the split were not very good.
Yeah,
And especially Wales. Wales were really, really, really bad in scrims. And then they come to stage and they have just played so well. So I think it's like its own sort of story and narrative in itself, where coming into the split, they had a no-name jungle and mid. They sucked in scrims. Everyone was like writing them off, and then they've kind of just surprised everyone. So I think they're kind of the most fun team to talk about in terms of like wrapping up the split. They're kind of like a DCG-esque sort of thing,
That's what I was thinking.
which is really
Yeah.
fun. And then the other teams, I think SoftBank's. I don't know what went wrong at the start. I guess I was putting too much credit in Evi and Marble because I was like, okay, you just have like the best Japanese players. Then your average Korean is just going to be okay.
Oh.
Turns out the Koreans they got weren't okay, but it's not the biggest miss, I guess. But I guess Vikings being actually a top like 2 team basically was the big surprise to me. I thought they were going to fuck around with the 10-man roster. I thought there was going to be some growing pains. I thought there was going to be some weird stuff. But no, they just they signed 10 people, only play 5 of them every single game. Interesting choice, but maybe the other 5 are just like the best positional coaches in the world. So
Yeah.
maybe it's working well.
Well, I imagine like for them, it allows them to get some pretty good like development of, for example, their mid lane swaps without other teams getting information on it.
I don't know if they were doing
I
that.
don't believe they will do it.
Yeah, they're not doing
Oh.
internal scrims as far as I know, but
Yeah.
they should. I
Yeah.
don't know
I
why
think
they're
the only
not, but they
the only
should.
thing is the only benefits is like I think they like the substitute players also come to Taiwan, right? And I
Yeah.
think they just got a better ping for Korean server. I remember like one of the jungler I think should also like 1,000 LP in Korean
Yeah,
solo
a
queue.
few of them are really high.
Yeah, like the both mid and jungle substitute I think is kind of almost challenger or like something like that. So that's the benefits. And I also heard that SWOT art is keep learning Vietnamese, and from what I've heard, his attitude changes a lot compared to last year from CFO. So maybe, so maybe
He's a
that's
tour guide.
five. Yeah, yeah, he's learning. He's learning. I think he's still expected or hopes to play like 1 or 2 series in the split two. I think
Yeah.
that may actually happen. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, for me, Sealong's been one of the best supports. I've liked that guy. He's been creative and like
He's hit his
pretty
song
dominant.
for me. He's really hit his song for me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bit of
that
an
Nautilus
intro.
performance was was a bit of a hiller song. Nautilus performance.
Like his ceiling is so high, but his floor is also so low sometimes. Like so
Yeah.
many, especially when he played the normal engage, like you said, Nautilus or maybe Well or even like Rakan. There's so many I say bonehead plays. Like what the fuck he does that, but the next fight
Yeah.
he would just carry it again. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that Nautilus game, he like completely 1v9 the first 4 levels and then started sprinting it.
yeah, and like
Happens.
yeah, I mean like for SoftBank, I remember I mentioned it before. Like I think the roster swap from Dasher Forest to like Fate and
Courage.
Courage is kind of just a size swap. It's not an upgrade. It's only just because Dasher needs to go back to military,
Yeah.
and I do think it's a kind of a downgrade since uh the new Koreans need to learn Japanese again. Because I remember like last year the mic check from SoftBank is they're all in Japanese communicating, which is very fluent. And I do think like the newer guys kind of need some times to learn it, especially for like Fate and Courage. Gang should be fine in language wise, but um I'm not really a fan of his play. Like his
Yeah.
level is kind of just bad, especially when you compare to last year, Vista.
Vista.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
will fuck me. Will fuck me so hard
Yeah.
in the stadium.
True.
So yeah, I feel like I expected SoftBank to struggle to like at least in the bottom half.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, their roster is just strictly worse than last year, I believe. But again, it's their first split playing, so like over the course of the year, there's no reason why it can't improve.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
Evie
like,
came into the split looking pretty bad. Like his first series, he had a 0-9-0 on game. You don't expect that out of a player with as long of a career as Evie.
Just a competitive like top lane, because like last year PCS, to be honest, like except Jiang and Aji, like all the top laners are bad. Like even Driver is playing, Rest is especially playing very bad. Like last year,
Mm-hmm.
like in the later games, he just didn't show up, or he didn't even play right. But this year, like they are coming back. Like both Driver and Rest have, I think, improved from last year, and the VCS top laners all are just better in general. Like Kiaya, like Hero, or even Astera and Kratos, like all are just better top laners. So kind of a struggle for Evie.
For sure. Yeah, I
And
mean, the standings are interesting because, like, Team Secret Wales also, like, if the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs, could have come out second, which I think is the most interesting thing here. It's like they finished fourth, but they're the only team that bet CFO. They, outside of CFO who beat Talon, had, like, the best game against Talon.
Yeah.
And, they threw it, sure. But, like, yeah, I don't know. This team is, like, a true contender, I think, like, going into the playoffs. However, like similar to DCG, they could just go into playoffs, completely lose their identity, and just int. Like that's what we saw out of DCG, where they come out with all these creative drafts. We get to playoffs, and 665's on Sejuani 3 games in a row. It's like, well, that was kind of cringe, but
Chiefs should have beat Wales, so are Chiefs the best team?
Yes, yeah. Well, they were by far the most consistent. So,
True.
they have the most points in one direction. So it's like there's an argument to be made.
Yeah. I mean, like also from Gam is like Gam. I expect they have a slow start, but
this is slower than anyone thought.
Yeah, like
because we just thought name power, just pure raw name value. You just think they're just gonna win the games just through the names, but it's kind of like how I thought about it a lot. Is they're just gonna have a lot of growing pains. You have 4 carries now. It's difficult to allocate the gold. You need to learn what everyone needs. It's gonna take a bit of time. I thought even though it take time, I still thought they'd be like 3rd or 4th easily. I think even tonight they're against Secret Wales. They might even be fine. Like they might have just sacked the first series, and they do fine. And then they're top 4, and then we're like, oh, Gamma's top 4. There's like no surprise here. So it's kind of interesting.
I'm just more disappointed that the games that they lost are kind of like very one-sided. Most of the games, maybe due to the draft.
Game
maybe,
3.
Yeah, like also like game 3 draft is always a fuck fest, and like but outside of like just talking about the draft is just the in-game gameplay just bad like most of the times.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've been wholly underwhelming. I mean, again, like unless you're first, the split just doesn't matter, and I don't think Garm are viably competing for first at this point. Like they would have had to have improved quite vastly in the past 3 days to be able to overtake probably all 4 teams ahead of them. Like I could see them beating Wales because Wales are a bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
Even though they've only lost 2 series, even in some of their wins, it's like holy, this is way closer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think like ultimately, you probably just look towards split 2, and like there's going to be like 2 months that you can improve, and who knows what patches come out. Like surely we get rid of lane swaps in between that. Like I kind of enjoy the fighting of lane swaps. I kind of enjoy the. Yeah. I enjoy the amount of fighting that lane swaps has introduced. Like I actually do enjoy lane swaps viewership wise, but like I also feel like you can't go through the whole year and just have lane swaps the way to play League. I feel like you need to change it up a little. Yeah,
I
exactly.
think once it happens again at the international, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure Riot only watch LTA or something. Like, and they're like, oh, there's a couple lane swaps in LTA. It's not a problem. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
I think like they just don't want to change too much until like the first international. Like they want the team
Yeah,
to
yeah.
use the same
I don't
pattern.
know.
I
I
mean,
think they're
hopefully,
just
hopefully.
not
Yeah, they
not
tried.
very smart.
They tried to change something large before a Worlds once, and then we got Juggernaut patch, and that was
I mean, that's
100.
10 years ago now. Like,
Yeah,
it's such an
but like,
obvious thing.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, making Mordekaiser have a dragon not being OP. I mean, being ridiculously OP was an obvious thing too, and sometimes these things, unfortunately, while obvious, do make it into the live patch.
I mean, that's usually what they do for
Fixing
like.
lane swaps is not difficult though. They
Yeah,
just don't
no,
want
I
to
agree.
hard code any, like, they don't want to build anything which is like not intuitive into the game,
Yeah.
because I don't know, Freak is on a rampage of making everything simple. I don't know, maybe he can move over to Wild Rift if he wants something simple, but they just need a hard code, like a quick fix in, and it just like all you need to do is just like do some sort of sharing XP for top and mid waves, and then just
Yes,
like
that's
it just
yes.
fixes it. But they don't. They like I've watched most of Freak's videos, and he knows that like idea or theory, but they don't want to hard code anything in like that. They'd rather have like a system wide patch. I don't know why. Like I think having these like tiny built-in rules is not the end of the world. It's not going to affect any single solo queue game ever. So it's like, why not do it? They just want like simple patches and simple changes. I don't know the reason behind it though.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, like I've enjoyed the split and the lane swaps. I think it's shown like how each team can like innovate, how they focus down the lane swaps or like where they put resources based on it. But like yeah, again, it just can't be a whole year thing. Otherwise, it gets very stale and
Yeah.
it becomes a lot less interesting as you've watched it game in game out. Over the course of now a month and a half, and if it goes to next split, it'll be over the course of like 4 months. So it's like
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's go for the next one. So, like the first and second team that we can do with.
So,
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, you may as well start us off, right, Skywalker? Start with like the top laner, I guess.
Or do we want to do the MVP first?
Oh, of the entire league?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
It's actually pretty difficult for me because, to be honest, I think that for me, I think it's around Betty or Junja, to be honest. Because I kind of like even like Junja is actually I would actually prefer Junja more than Betty from what from what they show, because I think Junja is more essential to the team, right? And like for the talent, I think like four of them, like Azi, Fofo, Betty, or even like Woody, like all they have some showings that is very important. So it's kind of spread out for me. But like for CFO, I still think like when Jinja is ahead, and he's the most influence in the game.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, you go.
You go. No, you go.
Okay. At least when I have to choose an MVP, I like to take the very literal meaning of like the most valuable player. I think MVP, everyone has their different opinion on how it should be done. Like, is it the best player in the league? Is it the person who carries their team? Is it someone who's just like played really well this split? But I tend to lean a little close. I like to put more weight into this person just like solo carrying their team and just like being the integral part. And I think that's Ginger. Like PSG, you can swap anyone out and they're probably still going to be really good. Vikings, you could say it's like Kati, but I think a lot of their game revolves around just like Guri and Sulong. Yeah,
do so much also, right?
exactly. So I think you could swap out a few of those players and still be okay. But for CFO, it is Ginger or die.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I was actually when I thought of Vikings, I was thinking of Shogun, because I think a lot of the games for them that have been close was him ultimately outperforming. But again, I'm fully on the Ginger boat. I think he's been the most integral player to any team that we have in the league. I think without him, they're not going to beat Talon. They probably drop some more games. He is the best jungler in the league, and he's yeah, I don't know. Yeah, without him, they do actually just fall apart, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, so let's just agree we put on Jinja, cause
Yeah.
okay, it didn't swap anything. That's fine. We'll do it later. So for the top laner, first team, who we are putting up with?
I'll go for. I think Arja. I think like while it's easy to look good on a team that's consistently winning, I think a lot of he has more impact on early games out of every top laner I think in the league. I think obviously a lot of the time he plays stuff like Udyr, and that
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier to have more impact. But also like other people have tried playing Udyr, and again it's the same as in the PCS. No one comes even close to having as much impact on the map as he does. I think just I don't remember a time where he's lost lane. Like he'll fall behind in lane sometimes, but like it's never to a point where he is just a great detriment. Like his last Udyr game, he was 161, but the entire map had already just completely fallen apart. And then your Udyr that's like 2k gold behind. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think Arja is probably the best performing and most consistent top we have in the LCP at the moment.
Yep, I agree. I think he has to be first. I think it's mainly because other options I don't love. Like CFL was swapping two people, Kiaya's had a terrible split. Then the other options would be like Kratos or Hero, and I'm not like a big fan of either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean they've ultimately they've both had games where they've almost been a solo reason they've lost the game, right? Like, and that's the problem when you're going up against someone that's never really has been.
yeah, I think like that's true also. Okay, let me just swap the monitor first very quickly. So we go back to here.
I will be biased though, and maybe second place should be Biopanther.
I actually don't even hate it. Like,
I think he's genuinely gonna be like third or something. Like
he's
it's
top
not
3.
even crazy. He's if I had any other top laner from the league on this team, would they do better? And I think the answer is no, because the way he's doing well is through tanks. Because if he was to pick a carry champ, that team is not going to help him at all. He's going to go like 0-7. Like,
Yeah.
But he picks a tank. He's solo killing people. He's being impactful in fights. He like solo carries games on Ornn and Sion. It's like disgusting.
Yeah, no, I actually think he's like top 3, maybe even
I
actually second best performing.
He's like honorable mention.
Yeah,
It's like a weird one.
Because I mean, like for me, the second one actually would be like Driver. Although like they split so many of the games, but like
really,
yeah,
I think Driver is the second best player, but
yeah,
getting swapped out just hurts.
Yeah, because I think like there's so many plays that, especially in game 3 when he comes in, like he actually like saves or do so much compared to other top laners. That's what I
really. I mean,
sometimes.
The series that they lost against Team Secret Wales is just like living in my head as the problem.
That's the worst one, yeah. Especially
because like his Ambassador was really poor.
Yeah, and his
Urgot too. Urgot did nothing.
Urgot is just the last fight that he's fucking in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he will get fight. Because also like the mic chat they like CFO also put it out is like they said all 5 of them said Nocturne will just out aim in the mid lane, and like other teammates also told Driver that they will kind of cover him, but somehow they just all went away. So it's kind of myself is not really solely on him, but although like Driver always get caught in mid lane.
Yes, he does.
Already. Yeah, but like he also like did so many things, like engage and just like yeah, like I think he's doing so much, like especially when he's Gragas.
That's what I was gonna say. I think he's the second best top in the league if he's on Gragas, but like other than that, it's been like I don't know. I haven't been impressed with Driver this split, and I'm like a big Driver fan because like obviously back in 2023 when he was on Impunity and he's like playing like the Gangplanks and the Scion back then. Like I've always been a big fan of him, but I think he's been a little weaker this split, and considering as well he's like. Again, he's playing with Ginger, who allocates resources to his top laner more than most supports do. I mean, sorry, junglers do. I don't know. I'm struggling to give it to Driver because I also think in the games Rest has played, he's looked better than Driver on average.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's some of the games I think. Yeah, at least how to say, I mean like the ceiling and again the ceiling and the floor problem, like in if you
Yeah.
yeah like in general, Rest played like almost the same in every game. Like he kind of
Mhm.
fine, but for me Rest is just like in the late like mid to late game, like he didn't really as the had much impact. No,
Mhm.
that's what I thought. But in that just talking about like in the earlier mid game, like Rest is kind of influence more, yeah, in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to give either of them a spot. Just
true though.
again,
Yeah,
as
because
Molecule said, because
just
they
lack of
just
games. Yeah.
yeah. I like. Okay. Like, again, like the other person, because like there's Hero, but again, he's had some games where he's just sprinted it down. I think Kratos has been pretty consistent. I think he should be in the discussion. But I honestly think like if you put Biopanther on one of the winning teams, then he will just look like the best top laner in the league, maybe. Because he's on a team that is just consistently down like
Mm-hmm.
I
A
mean,
lot.
we can. I could have a
A
look at
lot.
the
Yeah.
average. I'd have
Just
to have a look, but
talking
they're
a lot.
always very far behind, and the only person that isn't is him, and he's on like Ornn or Sion, and it's like, okay, well, like, what is he actually supposed to do here? And like, sometimes they're in team fights where they have a winning position and they're missing abilities and stuff like this, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like
Mm.
Panther definitely has to be in the top three, and I actually think Kratos might be because of he's played every game and he's also been very consistent. He probably could take second in my mind.
Yeah, Kratos actually kind of do
I
good.
don't mind that.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Chiefs
but yeah.
only average minus 1,600 at 15. Only. That's not
Oh.
actually that much. I thought
Okay,
it
no,
would be
but that's
more.
also skewed because they like were winning early game against DFM twice. They were winning against Team Secret Wales twice, and ultimately they lost 3 of those games.
True.
So it's like a little bit skewed in that regard.
Okay. I see the logic.
Because for me, like I think like Bio is really good, but I still
Mm-hmm.
expected more kind of how to say carry side of him. That's what I think he needs to
Well, they
show.
just,
Yeah, he's
How
not a
he,
super carry like
yeah,
but
Jace
they just,
Renekton.
I just feel like they can't, right? Because like,
that's also
Well, I
true.
mean, it's hard, yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but
because like you
that's
you need
yeah,
some protection.
yeah. But just from the way he play, he's definitely like, especially in the early in the mid game. I think he's definitely like top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just forgot Kratos actually. Kratos is kind of pretty decent, like except the first 2 games, because I always how to say
Yeah. True.
I look down on him. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like him and Sudon. Okay, I mean Kratos is fine.
Yep,
Yeah, that's how it's
I think
pronounced,
that's
right?
fine.
Yeah. Okay, so Jungler, I would just go with it, Jinja, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean like
Yeah. That's
he's clearly the best.
yeah. And then I think Guri is probably
Yeah,
second.
Gumi is second. Oh,
And
actually,
then Casa probably, but like
we should
Casa's
we have
pantheon is
honorable mention.
fucking.
We should put an honorable mention here. Wait, we are putting yeah bio. How's first name? Right, this right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. For the first one, to be honest, I think Hisso is the one that I
Yeah,
will shout out
I
to.
agree.
Oh yeah.
Like, instead of
Yeah.
Casa. I mean, the Casa,
Yeah. No, 100% actually,
yeah,
100%.
so many games that just throw by him. To be honest.
Yeah. No. I agree. I forgot about his toe. No, he's definitely playing better than Casa.
Yep, I agree.
A lot of the time, Talon are winning in spite of Casa, not because of him. This guy does so much griefing, man. I actually cannot fucking believe it.
Wait, how's fucking fair?
I really want to see like Mur on CFO, or not CFO Talon, like, or even CFO. Would Mur be a bigger inter than Karsa? That's what I want to know.
Really?
I mean, maybe, but Mir has actually saved a lot of the games for them.
Yeah, he's done a lot of
Predominant-
Atakan steals.
Yeah.
He steals a lot of things, but
Yeah.
But-
goddamn, he is a griefer too.
there are some times that I can't even blame him. Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, well, the Rift Herald obviously was the most fucked one, but like,
Oh, it was
in
funny,
that
though.
same series, it was, I think it was game 1 when it was the Vlad Pantheon, Lemus had walked all the way down from fucking top lane, made it to where the fight was happening, and then ran back to top lane as the fight started, and Chiefs two of the Chiefs died. Like he was at the fight when it started.
Yeah, I mean the whole team was
turned around.
But
Yeah.
goddamn, a few of them were inting. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I just want to like see like relative, because obviously
Yeah.
the top teams they only get like Castor or like Junjo, really good players. I want to see like a real inter on these teams, just to get like a reality check on how big of an inter Castor is.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's hard to tell.
It's like you're always winning, so how much are you inting?
Yeah, because I always blamed last year on Gory, because it just felt like we just had to babysit him. Like if we didn't have 3 people mid the whole game, he was dying 10 times. But maybe it is just a Casa problem. I do remember his flash on Ivan to steal a fucking
they're both.
Crub.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them are the problems last year, and also kind of Sword Art should be the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole team just just not there.
Yeah, well, I think that's correct for the
Never jungle.
Jungle. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's very interesting. Like Hisso, plays really well. Like it's kind of come out of nowhere. Like very young, like 07, like only 17 years old, right? Something like that. And
he's a beast.
Yeah, like I really expect his struggles right before the split, and also like Dire, yeah, like 2 of them. So interesting, and appreciate it since there's not much younglings nowadays.
For sure.
Yeah, for mid laner, who you guys would put it? Is that
I would say Fofo Kati.
Fofo Arya.
Oh yes, no, you're right. Fofo Arya with I think honorable mention Kati.
I think Fofo still should be like still the best one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Kati or Arya, or even to be honest, like even Honkyo, like in the later stage of their like after the break.
Yeah, I think Honkyo.
I think his early split was too poor to have him up here.
Yeah. But the later one, like the later half, is pretty good to be honest.
Yeah, he's improving well.
I think by the end of the year he could be like contesting first, like in terms of the mid lane player pool. But I think for now, like the start of the split was too poor.
I agree.
But I think Kati would be my honorable mention.
Yeah, he's like a very solid player.
Yeah.
Actually, for me, I would like put Ari on the honorable mention more than Kati.
Who? Sorry.
I would like swap Kati and Arya here. Like for me. Actually.
Oh really?
Because I think like Kati is more like. I mean.
I feel like Arya is like really elo held though, like really stuck.
That's true. That's true.
No, I think like what Arya is doing in his position is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, he tries the best. I mean, like he's the only saving grace from DFM though.
Yeah, 100%. There are some games like his game against SoftBank where he's like he committed way too hard to try and kill the Talia in one fight. I don't know if you remember, but like Ray Farkey landed like a 4-man Ornn knock up into another 4-man Ornn knock up, and like only Fate wasn't in it, and Arya just full commit onto Fate. Like I think there's like that's the one thing I remember where he probably could have just committed to the fight and they would have won, but they didn't. But other than that, like this guy has played a pretty fucking phenomenal split. The only series win was literally just a 1v9 by him against Chiefs. Yeah. Like they would have lost if not for him. So.
No, I mean like many series if he just didn't perform like or just perform averagely, he would like the team just lost very easy.
Oh yeah, it's just a 0-2, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fair. So for the AD carry, but I will go first. Maybe I will put Betty again because I still think like he's the most kind of more consistent one. Like in here. The second one.
The second one's hard.
Yeah. I will give to Shogun.
Yeah.
I think Shogun is
I was leaning that way. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's LPL tax, like in the way that it's the opposite, where I would expect more from Doggo. It's like he's been some games are okay, and then some games you just like, was this an LPL player? But I don't know if that's like too much perception.
Nah, the 1-8 Varus does it for me.
Yeah, obviously the 1-8 game is not his fault, but just in general.
Yeah, it's just rough.
Yeah.
Just in general, I expected a bit more.
But it's also like
I agree.
I think it's kind of like he didn't.
He has to play with Kaiwayne. How unfortunate! Can't win a lane.
I mean, he didn't really give any carry game, Like,
Yeah,
he's just doing fine like every game. That's the
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah.
I think.
that's what I see.
Yeah.
I agree.
But like,
I think
Shogun is
I'll-
like always coming up big sometimes.
he's always, I think, going to be clouded by the fact that his jungler is probably the best player in the league so far. So it's like a little bit harder to stand out, but also Shogun has been actively standing out. Like he from the very first game they played till the very end has been like the standout player. So
Very reliable.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's also like what I expected from like this team. Like, Shogun, Kati, or Guri should all perform pretty good.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. For honorable mention, maybe I would give to Eddie. Or are there any suggestions?
Oh, that's true.
I would
Yeah.
say Eddie or Marble. Now, I don't think Marble has been amazing, but he's been the only stable person on the 3 worst teams. Other than Arya.
No, Arya, yeah.
Arya as well,
put
yeah.
Arya, bro.
Arya has been like really well, but Marble, his level is probably not the highest. But considering your team is like running it down 24/7, he's doing pretty well, especially with like 5 AD carry bans every game, and he picks the same 3 champions, and it's probably a losing matchup. And his team's inting, he's doing okay. But maybe that's like the
He's
expected
doing
level.
fine.
Yeah, but I think it's like way more than what anyone thought, which is kind of interesting. It's like he's not carrying, he's not doing super well, but he's doing more than what I thought, which is what I at least value in picking like someone like an honorable mention. It's like this guy's doing way better than what I thought he would.
Yeah, that's kind of true, but especially like in the later of the split. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
fine like compared to what we expected.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of good AD carries, right? I never expected him to be top 6 within AD carries. I expect him to be like the 6th or 7th best AD in the league, and he's doing even versus like the top ones. He's not getting smashed, so I would be okay with honorable mention. But I think Eddie is also fine because I think Eddie was. We thought he was going to be like 4th best AD coming in anyway, and he's just a bit sleeper. Like no one recognizes
when
him
you
because
know
they just want
VCS,
to pick
then
Gam
you know.
and Vikings. Yeah. Yep. If you know VCS, you know he's very
Yeah,
good.
you know he'll be one of the better ones, and
Mhm.
I mean like all 3 like Shogun.
Yeah,
Arthur,
Vietnamese ADs are
like
good.
all 3 ADs are pretty good. I mean like all 3 of them I think outperformed Doggo also. Like even like Artemis in kind of bad
Yeah.
shape, but I mean like Cam is really not Artemis' fault. Maybe I might be
Yeah, I
biased
think
here.
Artemis played the best on their team.
Yeah, he's like the one really playing steady kind of. Like he just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, AD carry is just the most stacked role in the region. So, like, there's probably an argument to be made to put almost anyone as an honorable mention, outside of, unfortunately, Lemus or Milan or Cocoon.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
Okay, what's the support role? I mean, had a
Oh, this is
Rudy.
hard, man.
I think for me, first team should be Rudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, the supports have, I mean, they felt interchangeable almost to me a lot of the time.
I would say
I think-
if you want like upside, you go Shulong. Because I think he's had the most like pop off.
Yeah.
But consistent is probably Woody.
Yeah. He's also had the grief games, whereas Woody hasn't really.
I mean, that's just like the Woody of the past 2 years. He doesn't really enter
Yeah.
as much. 2023 Woody was a bit of an enter.
That's right.
I mean, like, even
Yeah.
nowadays, even like when Woody ins, he will kind of get it back. He will
Yeah, it's not
he will
tempted,
just
yeah.
fix his problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the second one
Yeah.
is kind of difficult though.
I agree.
I'm like,
Because like I think Taki
he's
or
also, Cyril?
Taki or Xiulong would be my 2.
Yeah,
here.
I will go Shulong because he carries his team a bit with
Yeah.
the crazy stuff. I think that needs
Yeah.
fairly
No, I agree
rewarded.
with that. Yeah, I agree with that actually. He like he's not scared to bring out an innovative pick, and I mean it was Taki as well that brought out the Shen though, right?
Yeah,
Was it? Yeah. So I mean he I
Shen,
think he
yeah.
like he did a really good job that game at carrying his team, but I think in general like the Annie, the Nikos, the Pike, the Elise, yeah, Xiulong probably takes it. But I think Taki should be the honorable mention.
Yeah, I mean like just Kiri. But I mean like the whole Secret Rails bottling just should be like one of the better ones. Although
Yeah, I mean that's the reason they almost got second. So let's be real.
Yeah. Although like Dire and History kind of perform every game, but the bottling is what the core.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Kaiwing? Where's your Kaiwing rating? He played 2 range champions this split.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's actually impressive.
Man.
That's impressive, actually.
He survived.
He survived. He is a new person. Yeah. What is going on?
Yeah.
How the fuck do I know? Because I just.
Doggo has been whipping him.
You look at Cascada, who plays like 16 different champs in 16 games, and you look at Kaiwing, who has played 4 different champs in 2 years.
No, maybe he will go fucking bow 5. Hard to say.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Kaiwing in best of best of 5. Game 3, game 4, game 5. Oh no.
At least
he's just gonna play Yumi.
At least he has some fun with the Chiefs series, right? He played Gregas, Gregas and Natter. Yeah. Those two.
His Bard was still so fucking shit. I can't
believe that was appalling. That was appalling.
Oh my god.
That was the worst shit I ever did see. Oh
it's so
my
BM.
Lord.
It's like, alright, this team shit, we're gonna play Bard against them.
You know his prom is actually kind of shit too.
Well, I mean, he just likes to play Engage.
Last year, like way before when before COVID, I would say his prom is pretty good. His Braum and Karma is actually like 2 of the most he played in solo queue, I remember. Like back in the HKA days. And he's doing very decent. But after that, just coming into now, I remember like last split when he tried Braum with Wako, and Wako just tell him, you don't ever play Braum again, please. And that's so fucking weird. Yeah. He's so fucking weird. And so I don't know, maybe he should got like Rel, Alistair, Nautilus, Leona now. Rakan is fine, yeah. Like 5.
Yeah, his Rakan's good.
Well, maybe someone with more target on him. I don't know. I'm still waiting for. I mean,
he should play Shen. Shen should be a good champ for him. Maybe not. I don't know. You need to be quite mechanical.
Yeah, not for now. Before he can, like again.
The Shen thing is interesting, where you need to play like a cycle to make it work. Like that's why it works well with Lehens and LCK. Because Lehens is just fucking Lehens.
Yes.
No, but
like on paper, you think it's like a healing pick. Yeah.
They're more now.
Yeah.
It's decent. Yeah, maybe. Well, we got fucked against the DCG last time.
Exactly.
Last year, Leona against Shen. Maybe some teams will copy. Like everyone loves to copy LCK.
True. No, that's an Orca special. He's been dropping it in the. He was doing it last year.
Yeah, he's the OG.
He did it before Lehens did. He's still doing it. I saw him. Yeah. I saw him doing it against Frank.
Me. Yeah, I can't bro. Fuck me.
Took you guys down.
Yeah. Well,
guys, tell him Academy's the worst in the PCS, right? Wop wop.
Okay. Anyway, let's just jump to the next one. Playoff prediction tonight. Which tonight is which? Oh
yes.
Oh, we've got 2 games tonight.
Yes, soon.
This is right. This is it.
6 games.
I'm gonna say no. It's not 6 games. It's gonna be 4 games. I think Vikings win 2-0, and I will say Secret Wales win. I want to pick Gam, but I don't think they've had enough time to fix it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Secret. I want to say it's Gam, but I think normally, actually saying that, traditionally in VCS history, Team Secret would just fucking fall apart every playoffs against Gam. So will we get the repeat of that? But I think this one, the time is just too short. It's been like 3 days since the last game, last weekend.
Not enough time for them to fuck up.
Understand what's wrong and fix it. Because I think Gam, either they're just like inting drafts on purpose, or they're just gonna play. They're just not gonna play Ares or Artemis, and they're just gonna sub them both out and just revert to 2024, just like randomly. That would be kind of crazy, but hell, I'm down.
Okay, So we are going to with Vikings win.
Yeah,
That's my
everyone's got
guess.
Vikings win.
Yeah, and Ben agree also, because I also agree Secret Wheel should
Yes.
win. Yeah,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Secret Wheel is
Yes.
just better than him. Okay,
I
but
don't think the time between series is not enough to fix the issues that Garma's seeing.
yeah.
Is there any way to see the starting lineups posted, or is it not public?
No, it's not
Is,
public. They make the decision when they get to the studio, I'm pretty sure.
No, you got to make it the night
No.
before. They just don't post
Oh, really?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it at
Usually
11
it's the night
p.m.
before. Yeah.
Oh, then I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
Would love to
we'll
know
get
that.
to know. We'll get to know based on who plays the 1v1s. That's how I work out who on CFOs their starting lineup.
Wait, are they doing 1v1s for now? No, right?
No, they
It's
won't
just,
be.
Yeah,
No,
it
there's
should
not.
be
Higher seed.
the higher seed one. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, so Vikings and Secret get side selection.
actually it would be interesting. Who Talon will pick?
Secret
They will
Wales.
pick Secret. Yeah,
Must be really.
I
If
think so.
100%.
if Secret Wheel Storm Game.
Well,
do-
the problem is they should have lost one game against Team Secret Wales, but they should have lost the series against Vikings.
I should
That's
have.
also true.
Yeah.
Like all 3 games, Talon were in a worse position, and somehow just managed to win.
It's a
Yeah,
POV
it should be
here,
Secret
right?
Wales.
That their first.
Yes, that should be right. Yep.
No,
That's right.
should be BO5 no.
No,
Is
yeah,
it
it's best of
BO3
3.
still?
It's BO3.
Best of
yeah,
3.
it's BO3.
Best of 3.
Jesus. Fuck.
It's best of 3 up until the upper and lower
Till
bracket
here,
finals.
Yeah, the round 3.
Let me open Wikipedia. Oh my god, it is. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why that changed. Oh, okay.
I can't believe I get to have the losers bracket and the losers bracket. Oh no, the upper bracket final on the same day.
That's hype.
My voice is thrilled.
You're fucked. You're so fucked. Okay, anyway, let's follow the second round.
Okay.
I mean, Talon should win Secret Whales.
2-0.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they should win here. And CFO versus Viking is actually very fucking close.
Yeah, I think CFO though.
I think Vikings.
Oh,
Split here.
you're gonna have to. No, you got the tiebreaker.
I actually also think Vikings.
Oh my god, you guys are biased.
The biased.
No, I'm
I don't know.
the CFO, bro.
I don't know, but you guys are biased. Oh, what about the arguments then? Because mine is because Ginger is just a lot better than the other junglers, and typically as well in lane swaps, he has been the jungler that benefits the most out of everyone. Like he has always been very good at navigating the lane swaps, at least domestically.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I like CFO aren't going to make similar mistakes as like Talon do in draft. Right, so like up against Vikings, if Cassante's open, they will just pick Cassante,
Agreed.
and then they're going to feel completely fine in a lane swap with putting him against the duo lane. And yeah, I just have faith in them to be able to actually control the pace of the game, being that Ginger is just, that's kind of what he excels at.
My argument here is just because I think Glory is the closest jungler, like level wise with against Ginger, and also like Vikings. Early, like the swaps are doing well. Like like the fish swap or just normal swaps are doing well. So like Vikings can actually match CFO in many kind of positions.
Mhm.
So I think like Vikings will actually come ahead a little bit more.
Yep. Basically, I think because Vikings have enough upset potential. Like if I were to give it like a percent or something, I'd be like CFO 60-40 or something. But for some reason, I think with the way that this week works, where you're playing pretty much every day, Vikings should be able to smash. I guess I can preface that I'm assuming Vikings smash Hawks.
Okay.
If for some reason that game is not close, the game is close and not a stomp, I'll go towards CFO. But I think if Vikings just come and smash them, have a ton of momentum, you roll into the next day, you feel amazing. There's no like practice or scrims in between. You just smash them, you go home, you do a draft meeting, you go sleep, you wake up, you play again, you're in the zone. I think that helps a lot. Whereas CFO might be, they get to watch the game, but if it's a stomp, you're not going to learn anything from it. So I think Vikings might have like some good vibes coming in. So that's my theory on it.
Oh,
I
actually,
think I think it's worth considering that CFO's last game of the split was against Chiefs, where they didn't have to show anything, whereas Vikings went against Talon and like showed quite a lot because it was an impactful game for them where they were fighting for first.
Well, based
So I
on
think
no, the
the
game 3
how
jump is
these
just too,
teams,
but it's
yeah,
just fucking.
yeah, I think
But
it's fine.
yeah, I think yeah, and
plus if
yeah,
they actually work out this lane swap thing, then
They're
I
not
think
gonna.
Vikings.
I'm not convinced.
Well, I don't
I
know.
think no
Junshin's
one
been pretty good at
cares.
it. That's
Yeah.
like I maybe putting too much stock in him specifically, but he has like over the past 2 years been very good at working out the lane swap and how to get the most out of it. Like in the PCS, he was the first jungler to start on the weak side of the map, just do the walls, and then you get an extra camp up on your opponent every game.
yeah, that's true though. But I still like just think like Vikings like early game kind of can match their energy with CFO. That's like my
Yep.
biggest argument.
Fair enough.
Also, you have the lower bracket wrong guy. The lower bracket
Yeah,
will be
I forgot it.
not those two. Yeah.
No, yeah, I forgot. This so like game will back home soon.
Yep.
Actually, it's interesting.
Maybe they'll fly home. You get 1 month off.
Okay, well,
So-
I mean,
So which one we are picking?
Well, Secret Whales and we
Oh,
2 to
no,
1 pick
the
Viking.
2-1. Yeah, 2
yeah,
to 1.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Secret Whales and CFO and lower.
That should just be CFO, I think.
I mean that's CFO to be honest.
Yeah, I'll say CFO for that one.
So it's just an easy one.
Although it is CFO during playoffs, that is one thing I forgot. These guys fall apart.
It's BO3, which I really hate.
Actually, driver always fall apart in playoff.
Yeah,
Good
he
thing they got a
does.
sub.
True. Now, yeah, I mean, I don't know. CFO just always fall apart during playoffs, to be honest. Other than that one 2023 summer, they did okay.
Which of these top 4 teams do you think
22
struggles
is good.
for Fearless? So once we get to BL5s, which team do you think is going to get exposed the most?
I think. I mean, I don't. Okay, Talon because they struggle from the very first game, but like they should have a good enough champion pool. Like they've been playing for so many years, they should know how to play a bunch of champions. But like those guys just suck at draft for the very first game. So
Agree.
I guess them. I guess them.
They can play champs, but
Yeah.
they can't draft champs.
Yeah, no, this is right. Like they just Fearless doesn't even matter. We could have regular draft. They just suck at it.
It's funny.
But this is a BO3, right? In the round 3, like the
No, this is best of
The
5.
top 3 are
This is best of 5.
BL5s.
Oh.
So round 3 and 4 are BL5.
Yes.
So Talent Vikings is the first BL5.
Yes, and I think Talon win. But like again,
Yeah, I think Titan will win
It's-
this, to be honest. Just
yeah,
because it's
I think they should. I think they should win. But like again, if they lose, it's because they draft horrendously. Also, maybe Casa does some throwing, not intentionally, of course, but just things like smiting the Baron at 1,300 HP.
No, I think they will like win 3-1, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it should.
Yeah, it should be around that. Yeah, that kind of. Yeah, but when Vikings go to the lower bracket, I do think CFO will come back though.
I do too, because it's the next day. Like, if I'm reading this right, lower bracket is on first. So CFO will beat Secret Widows, and then they can go home and watch a BL5 between Talent Vikings.
Yeah.
No.
And then
It's the 21st. So you can see the date. It's the 21st.
Yeah, they're both
is
21st,
Talon.
but the
Talon-
lower
The
bracket
Vikings-
is
together, right? Yeah.
Vikings CFO was 20. Oh yes, those are the same day. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Sorry, I was
so
fucking looking
CFO
only
can
at
go
round 3.
home, watch the BL5, and then the next day Vikings have to go back and do another BL5.
Yeah.
So I kind of like CFO in that one.
I mean, I'm just sticking with CFO. I chose them the first time anyway.
Yeah.
And then we have another game in a row
and
on
then
Sunday.
it's Talon, I think, winning.
Interesting. How about we go with a stiff? Oh,
You know what?
I think
I would say CFO win because I picked CFO at the start of the split.
so. I picked Talon, so I'm sticking with Talon.
Okay, so this is on me. Hmm.
And I just don't want Talon to win.
You don't want them to go for the 5P?
No, I want Corgi to draft the worst things ever and get more public hate.
Well,
because I
Look,
enjoy
your
that.
wish will be granted, but that often doesn't even mean they lose.
True.
That's true.
I don't know. I just can't. I can't watch PSG go to international and just do shit again. It just pisses me
No.
off.
Okay,
They have Casa, don't worry.
no, it's
Kappa?
it's so bad. This will be worst. No, I think actually CFO may come out because just yeah, I will pick CFO also. To be honest,
Okay.
I just hope they can. Like I think the comeback story, like the comeback energy, is just much.
The lower bracket run, back to
Yeah.
I
back to
can't
back.
believe you guys. You
Yeah.
go against me on my CFO pick and then go against me when it is when I just can't
True.
believe this. I can't believe this. Well, everyone hates on Oceania. I see how it is.
It's upside down.
True.
I mean,
No,
I
Obviously.
think the thing, like, I just year in and year out, this Talon, I mean, CFO roster has just fumbled when it comes to the playoffs. I just look,
No, it's different
I
though.
find it.
Yeah, it's a very
It is.
different CFO now.
It is. But it's like I just can't get it out of my head. I just can't. You know, Rest is still there. Maybe he was the problem. Who knows?
Yeah, he's just gonna start flaming everyone.
Yeah. Well,
No, I
I
don't
think
know.
the way that CFO will lose is actually just Koji figuring out how to fucking ban against Kaiwing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
only way. Like, I think CFO will lose the series though.
Game 1, ban
Really?
Nautilus, Leona, Rakan. We're gonna first pick something else. We're gonna first pick Rel.
I mean, I
Easy
also
win.
think Corgi realizing that Cassante is leaps and bounds better than Jace is also a pretty good win con. This Cassante champ is completely unreasonable.
But what if Aja randomly starts picking 80 carries? Have you thought about that?
Oh,
angle?
he does that. Oh, could we get the Electrocute Vayne back? No, it was Electrocute Corki, actually. It was Electrocute
Yeah,
Corki.
Electrocute Corki. Hey,
Yes,
that one went
yes.
pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. He was doing good
Yeah.
at the start.
Yeah, he figured out the strat to beat Aurora top. My man. And then
Yeah,
lost
every
the
game
game.
he was
But
like that. Every game he picked range champ, he's winning lane and then just does nothing.
yeah, no. But I
Oh,
remember
fucking so
the
bad.
like behind the scenes videos where it was like their coach and he's like, RJ has no idea how to play Vayne.
Yeah, that one was funny as fuck.
Hmm. Interesting.
And then Maple 1v9'd. No Maple to 1v9 anymore though.
Yeah, I mean, like Maple is just because for me it's always I talk about like how the best team have a playmaker. Like what, like when like in T1, like how they won Worlds is because like Faker is a playmaker, Carrier is a playmaker, like and even like Zeus is a playmaker. But
Yeah.
and even sometimes Owner can be a playmaker because that maybe just a stealing the Baron Drake something like that and just turn the fight. Like when the game is on the high state, it's always about like which team have more game changers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And I think the Talon and CFO like both had many. Like Talon, you got Woody and
Yeah.
Azu, but I don't think Fofo is same as Maple. I mean that's the one of the
Oh,
biggest
100%.
difference. Yeah. Yeah, and CFO to be honest, I think like Junja and Kairing, okay, of course they can like both do some game changing stuff. Like and even like to be fair, like Driver, like I always mentioned it before, like he's doing some pretty interesting stuff in some of his games.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And like even
Nah.
Honkyu in the later weeks, like he's doing pretty fine. I think he will be fine against Fofo, and when Fofo doesn't get enough days in his laning, like we saw it some games later in like week 3 and week 4. Like, oh, actually, the series against like Talon and CFO, like when Fofo is not really ahead of the game, he's just kind of here. That's what I felt.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of see it, but I don't know. I feel like the Talon roster in general is just a little bit more consistent. Like, I do think their way to victory though is to just draft something for Aja that can bully his lane and impact the map, because like they're the only team that actively utilize their top laner earlier on in the game, and like it's been like that actually just for the last 3 years. Like Aja's just really good at like if he's got control of his top lane at actually helping his jungler or helping his bot lane or whatever. And I think like that ultimately could be the deciding factor. I also think like when it comes to the grand finals, Honkyu, he's played it in the LCP. What was it? The PCL. But like
Yeah.
this will be a whole lot different, right? Like it's going to be much different story.
I think because it's not like in a stadium, so to me, I think it will be
still no fans.
Yeah, no fans.
Yeah.
It's actually, yeah, it's good for him.
Yeah, somewhat, but like you could say the same about weeks 1 and 2, right? And like there's a very good argument to be made that why he looked so shaky was because he's probably nervous coming into the league. So like if that's true, which it might not be, it might just have been like an off week, but like who knows? But like if that was because of nerves, then there's no reason why he wouldn't come into the grand finals with nerves as well, or like just to the playoffs in general. To be fair.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's fine. Kyrie will shout at him. He'll feel fine.
Yeah, nice.
Chavi will just beat him.
Yeah.
Nice. Just beat him.
But,
oh my lord.
Yeah, Chavi's muscle guy. You saw the photo? Before, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, but it will be a close series though. Maybe I think even like we'll go down to game 5.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
if
think
it's go down to
expect
game
that.
5, I think Talon actually had a better edge with the draft because fucking Kaiwing.
Yeah, depends Kyrie. Are they gonna ban him out?
Defense will be Kaiwing.
I want to see it happen. It would be funny. I want to see Kaiwing playing like Karma or something in game 5.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think like all things said is the grand finals. I wouldn't be too surprised to see any of like Team Secret Wales, Vikings, Talon, or CFO make it there, because I think
agree.
ultimately there hasn't been a substantial enough gap to reason why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, this will be the most closed playoffs like compared
In a
to
long
like,
time, yeah.
in a long time. Well, yeah, it's always just Talon before, so.
Yep. It's been Talon for the past 3 years, so.
That's right.
Sorry, guys, I'm bad.
It all started with Talon versus Frank. Spring.
Yeah. From that moment that when we won them, everything changes.
That's right.
Went downhill.
Yeah, I mean, like after we won them, it's Uniboy and it's Uniboy plus. Oh wait,
Yubel Wako?
Husha. No, it's Uniboy.
Oh, Husha. Yes.
Yeah. And after that, we won that. Then they just swapped Husha back to Junja, and somehow
Yep.
it's just Maple come back.
Yep. And then they didn't lose a single game until they put Husha back in.
It's so fucked.
Yeah.
Feel bad for him. Yeah.
Grand finals, Frank versus PSG, 3-0. Complete stomp. Solo kill, 20 CS, Arja, 80.
Yep. Sorry about that. Hey, at least we do a very even a good run.
Yeah, getting to the final was good enough.
Yeah, no, actually, it was
that was the miracle run.
Yeah, like even like last year, also the last one.
Yeah,
we played 30 games, bro.
I miss that Frank roster, man. Solo kill, watching him play Aurelia, that was such a good time.
Oh yeah, also yeah, he's kind of good. When I compare his Aurelia to Zhang's Aurelia, I think his like Solo kill's Aurelia is just better.
Real?
Yeah.
I mean, just like Wisecam and Solo kill had a lot better fundamentals. It's just Zhang was a lot better at team fighting. And seemed to learn a lot more.
Yeah. Zhang learns a lot more though.
Improved,
like, improved faster but like I mean,
right now he is terrible in LPL. It's fine. It's expected. It's expected. The goal was like he's gonna look bad at first, but can he improve? Which I think he might.
No,
he needs to start bringing out of Riven more.
Oh, I hate it. They always like please just bring it every game because this is Bull 5, bro. It's just Bull 5. Like they just.
I don't get it. LPL playing Bull 5s and no Riven. That coach is a pussy.
He just do Riven.
I hate it.
1-on-1, you know.
Like the final BO5 had zero meaning. Like just fucking play it. Like they're playing shit like Tryndamere. Like just pick Riven.
Yes.
Like I don't get it.
If they lose like the LPL.
Yeah, he's just afraid he's gonna lose and get a backlash.
Yeah. I think like that's the problem. I mean like I think he will bring it out in Split 2. Also, maybe Split 2 is their last split.
True.
Because LPL is just the bottom 2 teams just gone. Right?
And then he's coming back to LCP for summer. Let's go.
No, I check it. I actually
checked?
discussed. I checked. They can't.
Oh,
I
damn.
check it. They can't. Even like, if they do a cut.
Good idea to check.
Yeah.
You can sub and walk off.
Okay. Anyway, I think that's a wrap. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, no
we should
worries.
have a talk maybe after the playoff or maybe near the first 10. It's called the
100%.
first 10.
Yeah,
maybe
well,
we can
first then.
talk about like what the teams, expectations, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. See you. Thank you. Thank you for
Bye bye.
Nice.